All right, good Monday evening. I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Ken South. Everybody knows by now we've got some bad weather coming Tuesday, so let's get into it. Let's talk about what's going to happen over the next 24 hours because I think this event is less than 24 hours away. First of all, check it out. We've got a southeast wind. Clouds have been increasing today. We had a couple of sprinkles, but the air is still relatively dry over Mississippi. That's going to be changing later this evening and overnight. We're going to see those winds increase from the southeast, and that's going to bring in some moisture from down south. There's your storm system. The storm energy right now is pretty close to the Denver area. That's going to be moving eastward across the plains, and that's going to drag a cold front through by late tomorrow. So wind is going to be a big part of this story. At the surface, our winds will be increasing over the next several hours. This is a look at our wind gust. And notice how they are forecast to really increase, and they're going to turn in a little bit from the southeast to the south. But look at those wind gusts in our western counties, up over 40 miles per hour, close to 40 in Jackson. So this is the reason why we have a wind advisory. That's the beige shaded area over most of Mississippi, but down south around Pike and Walthall and Amite and Wilkinson counties, Pearl River County, and down toward the Gulf Coast, there is a high wind warning because those wind gusts could be 40 miles per hour or better. This is not even associated with the actual squall line that's going to be coming in late tomorrow. When the squall line arrives, we could see with severe thunderstorms, winds gusting up to 60, even 70 miles per hour or better. So that's going to be a major threat with this severe weather event coming in beginning about midday tomorrow. So let's talk about the moisture. That element isn't here yet. Remember, the air is still relatively dry. Look at our dew points in the 20s and 30s over most of Mississippi, but it's in the 40s down over the southwestern part of the state. So the moisture is going to be increasing from that direction as we see those strong southerly breezes overnight. So ultimately, I think our dew points are actually going to make it into the 60s as we get into the day tomorrow, kind of like what we're seeing right now. Notice over Texas, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, there is a surge of moisture here out ahead of this storm. So that moisture surge is going to head in our direction. Right now we've got a dew point of 31, but it's 66 in Houston. By tomorrow, we're going to see dew points in that range, and that's going to give us that last kind of element that we need for severe weather. We're going to already see strong winds at the surface. Winds are going to be veering with height as the vorticity, as the storm system comes in from the west, and then we're going to have plenty of available moisture, making the atmosphere unstable. The air at the surface is going to be buoyant because of the water vapor that's going to be in the air, and when we get the lift provided by the area of low pressure in the cold front, that's going to set off those storms. All right, so here's a look at our lows tonight. Mostly cloudy skies, breezy, and because dew points are going to be going up, well, temperatures are not going to go down that much. I think we're going to hold in the mid-50s through the overnight, and then tomorrow we're going to continue to warm, even with mostly cloudy skies. Now, here's the thing. We could see a little bit of sun early in the day. The more sun we see, the warmer the air is going to get, and the warmer the air is, the more moisture it can hold. So the hotter it is, the more potential we have for instability. So we don't want it to get really hot, but unfortunately I think we're going to be at least in the mid to upper 70s. If temperatures actually get into the 80s, we're really going to be in trouble. Also, this storm is going to be coming in, especially in the Pine Belt, during the worst part of the day, during the maximum daytime heating, when temperatures are likely to be in the upper 70s to low 80s. So that's not really the time that you want a storm like this to move in, but unfortunately that looks like that is going to be the case. So it's going to be a warm, windy, muggy day tomorrow before the storms get here. So when do these storms arrive? That's the question everybody wants answered. Well, with our in-house model here, we're looking at the storms arriving in the Delta and in west central Mississippi and along the river just after the lunch hour. Could start as early as about noon, but I'm thinking more like 1 to 2 o'clock. And then we're just going to see the storms continue to move eastward as we go through the rest of the afternoon and into the early evening hours. So a couple things here. The storm is speeding up. When we were watching this last week, we thought, okay, this could be an overnight event. It's going to be during the nighttime hours. Now we're thinking it's mostly going to be during the daytime. So that part is at least better. Nighttime events are usually more dangerous because people aren't paying attention that much because you could be sleeping because it's overnight. So at least that part of it is good. And the fact that it's going to be a progressive system. It's going to move in and out relatively quickly. I mean, we're going to see several hours where we're going to be under the gun of severe weather, but it's not going to stall or linger, which means we're going to be done with it in a relatively short amount of time. And while we will be getting some heavy rain, I don't think there's going to be a huge potential for flash flooding. I think the most we're going to see is about an inch of rain out of this storm. All right, let's take a look at that timing. In the metro, it's going to be mid to late afternoon. I'm thinking 3, 4 to maybe 5 o'clock. Also, though, notice that east of the squall line, which is going to be in the metro right about 3, 4 o'clock, east of that line, we could see discrete supercells developing, which could be severe and even tornadic. So we're going to have to watch out for damaging straight line winds with a squall line, and then embedded within the squall line, there could be rotations, and then out ahead of it with those discrete supercells, those storms can rotate as well. So that's why I think we're going to get a tornado watch issued right around midday tomorrow. That's going to last through the afternoon and into the evening hours. I don't know the exact timing just yet, but it wouldn't surprise me to see a tornado watch issued about noon. That's going to go until about at least 6, maybe even 8 o'clock across Mississippi. So by the time the sun goes down, that squall line really coming together. It'll be done here in the metro by sunset, but it'll be moving into the Pine Belt. So for at least a couple of hours after sunset, we're going to be dealing with this in our southeastern counties before it completely comes to an end well before midnight. So again, it's not going to be an overnight event. So the threat of severe weather has remained pretty constant since last week. It's been at a level 3 out of 5. It continues to be a level 3 out of 5, but that's for everybody. It's for the Delta, Central Mississippi, the southwestern part of the state, the Pine Belt. That's an enhanced risk, and it looks like everything is going to be possible with the exception of the flash flooding. I just don't see a whole lot of that. But as far as strong, damaging straight line winds, large hail, bigger than quarter in size, and tornadoes, I think all of that is actually likely, not even possible, but actually likely for Tuesday afternoon and early evening. So the main threats will come from those damaging winds, could be up to 70 miles per hour. Winds from a tornado could be even stronger than that. Hail, there's a medium threat of that, and we've talked about it, a relatively low threat of flash flooding because we're going to pick up just about an inch of rain, but that's it. And then we're going to see a couple of dry days after the storm moves through. So here's a look at the weather maker. It's going to be lined up to the west of us by midday tomorrow, and then it just races from west to east across the state in the afternoon and evening hours. We're going to see a little bit of wraparound moisture Wednesday, mainly over the northern part of the state. It is still going to be breezy, but then cooler as our winds come in from the west. I think our temperatures are going to drop about 15 degrees or so on average as high pressure comes in, and that's going to give us dry conditions for the rest of the week. No worries, Wednesday through Friday, it is just going to be a little bit cooler, but we do think temperatures are going to stay above freezing. The coldest weather is going to be Thursday morning with numbers in the mid-30s. The next chance of rain is going to be coming in over the first half of the weekend, but that's not going to be a severe storm. We're just talking about some scattered showers Saturday, and then we're back to sunshine on your Sunday. So for this night, it's going to be cloudy. The winds are going to be increasing, and temperatures are going to stay warm for early March in the mid-50s. And then tomorrow, at least in the mid-70s for highs, but other parts of the state, depending on how much sun they see, could be in the upper 70s to actually near 80 degrees. There is a 100% chance of rain. We're not going to miss it. Everybody's going to get rain with this storm system, and it is going to be a weather alert day. Sometimes we say weather aware, sometimes weather alert. When we pretty much know there's going to be severe weather, especially tornadoes in the mix, we go ahead and raise that level to a weather alert, and unfortunately, tomorrow is going to be one of those days. And it is March. We're in the peak of our severe weather season. Our long season, which stretches from February through May, the peak is March and April. So we're going to see these happening over the next several weeks. All right, here's a look at our 8-day forecast. Once we get past tomorrow, it does look better, but cooler. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Notice the low Thursday is going to be down to 36. Your highs Wednesday and Thursday close to 60. We are going to start to warm back up as clouds increase Friday. That's going to lead to those scattered showers Saturday, but then we're back to sunshine for Sunday and early next week. One other note, time does change this upcoming weekend. It always changes that first weekend of the month of March. Technically, it happens early Sunday morning, but I always put the icon on Saturday night because, of course, what do? We always change the clocks before we go to bed Saturday night. We are springing forward. We all know the rules, fall back and spring forward. So because we're springing forward, we're going ahead 1 hour, which means we're going to lose an hour this weekend. It's going to be a short weekend. The benefit is going to come with that extra daylight Sunday. The sun won't start going down until about 7 p.m. Beginning this Sunday, and everybody likes that extra daylight starting really next week. So that is your severe weather update. The 8-day forecast overall looks good. We just got to get through tomorrow, and I think, again, we're going to be under the gun if you live in West Mississippi, early afternoon after lunchtime, mid to late afternoon for the metro, 3 to about 6 o'clock, and then if you're in the Pine Belt, South Mississippi, it's going to be about, let's say, sunset to about 8 p.m., and then I think we are going to be done with it. Of course, we're going to have more updates. Just keep watching this space. Meteorologist Gracie Morris is going to be here tomorrow morning with another update on Facebook and YouTube. We will see you then.